Good evening, everyone. We'll take questions for Coach. First question right here in the middle. Two, please.
Hi, Coach. Davide Chinellato with Gazzetta from Italy. How do you prepare for a game like this with this magnitude, Game 6 of the finals?
Similarly to the other games in the playoffs and throughout the season. Obviously know the situation and have kind of been here before already in the playoff with 3 elimination games. And so for us, it's more of the same. Don't put too much pressure or anything different, but all the little things that we've done well to succeed, we'll continue to do those, as well as a few tweaks here and there, but understand we need a better start than we had last game and bring the same energy that they brought at home.
Jay, right here in this corner.
You thought your team might have been fatigued down the stretch of Game 5. How does that inform the way you coach tonight? Do you need to steal your main guys some minutes somewhere in there?
Yeah, you'd like to keep them fresh, obviously, for the fourth quarter. And, a big part of that was the success we had in the third with that group and played them a little bit longer, getting back into the game and taking the lead there. And then the bench production wasn't the same. And as we started out the fourth poorly, we got our guys back in a little quicker than we'd like to. So we don't expect lack of production like that again off the bench. So keep guys in their natural rotations and keep their minutes down to be fresh toward the end.
And then with Rob, he played almost the entire third quarter of Game 5, played, I think it was 18 minutes in the second half. What is the balance there between trying to keep him on the court because he's made an impact and then worrying about just his health and everything like that?
Oh, it's a pretty easy thing to see when he's feeling good and has a bounce in his step, and whether he tweaks something and is kind of limping around out there. So that part is pretty easy to see. And for him, it's not a matter of any minute restriction. It's just what we're conscious of, and not running in longer stretches. So for him, if he's looking good and feeling good, and that unit's playing well, he has no problem staying out there. And so nothing that needs to be done as far as minutes, but we do want to have him with certain rotations, and that splits up his rotations in the minutes more so, and we can get him in and out on quicker stretches instead of running the long 9 or 10-minute ones.
On your right, Jared, fifth row.
When you're making that decision to keep playing your main guys throughout the entire half and you're looking to just steal little bits of rest during stoppages, who are you consulting with on the bench, whether it's assistant coaches, training staff, sports science department, to figure out like how much can they push?
We have something that we like to look at rotation-wise with the coaching staff. Obviously, we have the timeouts to discuss who's been in for certain stretches or not, and who's playing well and what rotation. So we have 2 or 3 that we go over every day and kind of look at those, and then obviously have to have a feel for the game as well. And so depending on how lineups are playing, rotations and matchups, we can kind of tweak those. But we have a few different scenarios that we go over, but have to have the natural feel of the game, how it's flowing.
Left side in the back, Tim.
Ime, same starters tonight.
Yes.
And with Rob, he said after Game 5 that he's felt better with the extra rest as the series gone along. Have you noticed that? And has that been one positive, the way this is stretched out, that he's had a little more time to kind of get himself closer to being right?
Yeah, I think so. With the days in between have definitely benefited him, as well as the rest coming off the Miami series. And so he's looked and felt fresh, other than a tweak here or there, where he landed poorly or something. And so for the most part, it's been different than the Miami series and going back to Milwaukee, where we only had a day of rest in between. And although he's still day to day, and we'll see how he feels before every game, it was a little more dicey then because of the lack of rest in between. So he looks better, feels better, and is able to run longer stretches if need be.
Far right corner in the back, Dan.
Hey, Ime, Dan Roach from WBZ. How you sense the mood of your team? Is it an angry one, or as you get ready for this game? And what are some of the things that you do in this situation? You've been with this team all year long. Do you say much to them before the game, or is it basically your keys, your turnovers, ball movement, etc.?
Yeah, I wouldn't say angry, mood at all. We know we've had opportunities in the last 2 games, having leads in the fourth quarter of both of those. And so a few things here and there go a different way, and we've been in a different situation, but more so business as usual, as alluded to earlier, with the fact that we've been in this situation quite a few times in the playoffs this year. And so for me, it's a game-by-game thing. I'm not a big rah-rah guy as far as, trying to ramp guys up. I think our guys are ready for the situation and know what it is. And so more of, like I said, it always comes down to the small details, and that's what has lost us some of the leads in the last fourth quarter. So for us, we'll go out and handle it, and just the urgency and understanding how they're going to come out and what we want to do with our home crowd as well. And similarly to what they did at Golden State, and obviously got off to a really good start and put some pressure on us, we'd like to do the same on our home court this time.
John on the left side.
Ime, you talk about business as usual. You try to keep everything kind of similar, but everyone is aware of the magnitude. There's a championship at stake here. How do you keep it as close to business as usual, and how do you keep it during the game, the guys focused on the task at hand, knowing that there's any potential run that Golden State makes could be the end, and they could be celebrating on your home floor?
Yeah, and like I said, the small things, the details. We have guarded Curry a certain way, but kind of kept everything else in check. I think we had some slippage in other areas last game where he didn't shoot the ball extremely well, but a lot of the off-ball actions, some of the easy baskets that led them to getting the lead early in the game, and so it's focusing on those things and not losing sight of the big picture of things we've done well this whole series. And obviously, turnovers is a big part of it. When they don't offensive rebound, we're in obviously better shape, but 50 points in the paint last game, and a lot of those, other than Wiggins having some pull-ups or floaters, a lot were slips to the basket and off-ball actions that we had guarded well in the first 4 games. And so sticking with those and doing the things we've done well as far as that. Obviously, offensively, that's been some of our struggles, so kind of focusing on that end and being solid on defense like we have. I think you have to approach it that way. And the fact that the championship's on the line, we're still in the same situation with Milwaukee and Miami, where season was on the line as well. So that part doesn't change, and the focus on the details has to stay the same.
Back left, Mark.
Hey, Coach, Mark D'Amico, Celtics.com. You mentioned in your first answer that sometimes these scenarios, these elimination games, can cause pressure. What do you think it is about your players that has allowed them to avoid that pressure while they've been out on the court for the 3 elimination games that you mentioned?
Diversity throughout the season, and not losing a lot of games in a row. Obviously, we haven't lost 3 in a row since December, and 2 in a row throughout this whole playoff series until last game. And so for us, the bounce back ability to kind of put things behind us and address what we need to, and focus in on the minute details, and not look at the big picture, but the small things that dictate the outcome of a game. And so for us, we do have a short memory, and that's worked well for us. Put it behind us, and also being in these situations throughout the year where we had to battle back from a big hole early in the season. So all of those things bode well for us.
Any other questions for Coach? Thank you.
Thank you.